Hi and welcome to another episode. And what we've got here is an Acorn data recorder. I've been wanting one of these for about a year now. Basically, people don't want to sell them separate away from the computer, and if they do, they tend to not have the power supply unit and blah blah blah. But I've been waiting for a year, and this came up on eBay pretty cheap. So I thought, fine, I'll get it. I'll make a power supply unit for it. Won't be that difficult. Basically, what it wouldn't happen was that it would not. You couldn't press play. You couldn't press rewind. Q as in fast forward, fast forward and rewind, or the eject button, the flap wouldn't open up the lid. So I was like, wow, what's wrong with it? So I opened it up and I went, oh, that's what's wrong with it. Fixed it, and then I thought, you silly Billy, should have made a video out of that. So this came up about 2 weeks later, and it's basically got the same problem. I can see, look, that's what's supposed to happen, and won't work. The rewind button is stuck down, and that's what was wrong with this one as well. The rewind button was stuck down. So I thought, fine, but this one though came with a power supply unit. So really I have to do two fixes, but the second one I can do the same fix, I believe, as I did to the first one. Basically the belts need replacing in this one now. With this plugged in, it works fine. Definitely going to be using that one. But let's open up this one and get inside and show what the common fault seems to be. By common, I mean I've come across it twice. And I think I know why, but let's get on with getting this sorted out, and I can talk about why I think the problems are happening. Okay, so let's get it open. There are 4 screws, one of them hiding in here. Both of the tape decks had these silly little quality control stickers. Like, why did they go so mad with them? I don't know, but they did. Quality control 2, 3 twice. But let's get it open. As I say, 4 screws. So that's all 4 screws taken out. But before I babble on even more, listen. That is the bit that's stopping it from working properly. So when you get inside and you find a black bit of plastic, keep it. You desperately need it. But let's try to get inside. Now this is the bit that's difficult because the eject mechanism is all part of the lid and things, so it doesn't really want to come apart. So you sort of have to force it. It's scary. Don't want to force it because, as I say, the lid is there. So I find pressing the eject button helps a little bit, but not a lot. And that's the scary bit. There you go. So it does take some force, but then you can put the lid back down, but it won't stay now. Gently move that over to the side because it is all wired in there. Now, obviously, before we even get anywhere, these belts have had it. I mean, look at it. It's curling back on itself and everything. So we can get rid of them. I have already got some replacement belts already. So get rid of that belt wire up here. And then there's, I believe it's 3 more screws. One here, and then one hiding behind these bunch of wires here, which you have to be careful about when you're putting it back in again. So with all 3 screws taken out, just make sure you do keep them separate because they are different sizes than the 4 that kept the case together. Now this bit can come in handy if you try not to rip all the wires apart, because we have to find the bit of plastic. So to make my life a little bit easier, take this one out as well and leave that in a spot differently as well. Gently peel that away, put the lid to the side for a moment. Now we need to get the mechanism out without ripping everything up from the battery compartment and the switch on the front that makes it manual or computer. So to get it out, you have to push this bit of plastic to the side as you're lifting. because the power socket wants to come away from there. There we go. So we gently flip it upside down, keeping the wires so we don't want to rip them out, as I say. But this is the evil thing that's stopping from everything from working. Let's put that somewhere safe for now. So this is the second belt, which we can leave in place for now because we have to find out where that lives. And funnily enough, let me just zoom in because you're going to need to be able to see this. So where's my zooming gadget? There we go. Super duper zooming. Can you guess where it goes? Can you? Can you? No, you're looking in the wrong spot. I know you are. Look, look, look. I knew you were looking in the wrong spot. It's over here. It lives there. Can you see where that bit of broken plastic is? What that does is this is supposed to live there, and as you can see, this bit of metal lives underneath that bit of plastic. This bit, let me point with my pointy thing again. It should be underneath that one, and it should be underneath one here, just like the other ones are. You see? So we very delicately need to get that in there with some super glue, or whatever you want to call it in your country. This sort of stuff. Where were we? This sort of stuff. And get that in there. So I'm going to use some tweezers. I've got some decent tweezers, I think, that I can just about hold it with that. Not get super glue all over my finger all at the same time. Don't need much, but we need to get it in there the right way around, of course. So it would sit in there. Just like that, but with some super glue. And that'll hold that in, and then when we get it all back together again, it'll hold things in place. The exact same fault was on the other deck. And I believe what happens is that people are pressing play and then they're pressing rewind instead of pressing stop first. And because of that, they're forcing it down and it snaps it. And because that goes there, there's a whole spring system and mechanism in here that stops this bar here. If we can try to press eject, I think that's eject. You know, the stop button, it pushes all that across. And when this is up and everything, it all gets in its own way, basically, and stops it from working. So, let me come back after I've got this super glued in place. So after a minute or two of holding it in place, I think that's probably fine now. So what we need to do now is get inside so we can put this new belt on. So to do that, there's a bit of a problem because this is in the way. So let's unscrew that. Hopefully it's just this one screw. There we go. Keep that to one side. The screws are getting smaller and smaller. No. There we go. We can just lift it up enough so we can get a new belt in. So let's take this off. I think that can slide underneath there. There we go. We don't need that rubbish one. Let's get a brand new one from DataServe. You can find him on eBay. I've bought a few different belts from them so that it works. So that's the one for the on top, and that's the one for down here. So first things first, let's get it underneath this bit here, and then make sure it fits underneath there. Might have to use my tweezers again. Let me pull round. There we go. Try to line this up. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can see. So try to line this up. There we go. Force it round a few times. Oh, make sure it's not on that bit there. Force it round a few times. Make sure it balances itself up. Right, and that's it. That's that belt done. So I'll put these screws back in, and so we can, whoa. Forget backwards a little bit if you feel it pop in. Screw that down. Nice and firm. So I'm going to flip it over now, get the LEDs back in the correct spot so we can mess around and get the top belt replaced. Well, with a little bit of over-engineering, I've found this bit of plastic, which I didn't realise was there. Maybe in the other one it's still there, but it might have happened when I've pulled this off, and if anything, quite likely that's what's happened. This little bit of plastic needs to be super glued just inside there to help catch the lid for when it's opening. It's actually still being caught on the other side, but it needs to be on that side. So I'm going to super glue that in as well. So while we're waiting for that bit of plastic to dry, let's get this back on. So below there, can I even use the tweezers now that I've got super glue all of them? I think I can. Let's try these ones a bit easier. There. Let's try not to roll the belt round too much. It might be easier to actually just get it over this one first. Ooh. Let's not push the wheel down. Oh, that proves that one. It's easy to get it over the larger wheel first. And try not to twist as you're doing it. There we go. And that's it. So now, pretend we've got a tape in. So, as I say, it's just waiting. I was messing around with the buttons there. Let's zoom out even more. So I can press play. I'm going to press stop, I can press rewind, I can press stop, I can press fast forward, I can press rewind. I can even make it pretend there's a cassette in. So, hopefully the lid is glued into place and holding now. time to get it all screwed back together again. When you put it back together again, make sure that the wires aren't sticking through the edges. It really likes to try to do it here. I found just sort of running it along with the tweezers to pop it back in again seems to work. And then look down the holes to make sure that there's no wires sitting behind the holes for the screws. So just pop in your 4 screws, and as always go backwards a little bit, feel it drop in, then screw down quite a way but not all the way, back a little bit, and then screw in all 4 screws. So, moment of truth. Yay! That bounces up. So the real moment of truth is to get some power in it, I suppose. There we go. A lot nicer. Alright, so let's plug this in. This is quite a strange looking jack on it, but all we're interested in right now, does it actually get going? Let's plug it in. So we have power, which is good. Can we eject? We can eject. Push it across to manual, because otherwise the computer will control it through a cable. So can we play? Can you see the head spinning around? Can you see it spinning around? Let's zoom really in now. Can you maybe hear it? In fact, let's stick a tape in. I don't actually own... Okay, quick thought, let's actually get a tape in here. I don't actually own an Electron cassette, so... At least I don't think I do. Right, so fast forward, rewind works. Fast forward isn't doing anything. Play works. Fast forward's not working. Future me here. Don't, for whatever you do not tighten that screw all the way down. Leave a little bit of slack on it. No, not a full lot, but some. Because otherwise you won't be able to press fast forward and this little bit to move across and bang into the cog there so that you can actually do a fast forward. Just a little tip there, but I'd rather you did it before making the same mistake as me, so make sure it's down, but it's not, it doesn't have to be screwed all the way down, it just doesn't. So practice that you can actually press fast forward before plugging it in. Drum cut. Don't forget to clean the head with some isopro. I need just a little bit across there on that head and a bit on the recording head. And then leave it to dry before you actually put a tape in, because otherwise it'll dissolve the tape. A little bit of muck, but not a lot, but it's still worthwhile doing. One thing I have come across while playing around with this, you put the tape in, press play, spins round. Let's pretend we've got a tape in there. There we go. Get a tape in, playing. I realise it's a Your Sinclair, I just don't have an Electron tape to hand. So everything's spinning around, the counter's working. Press stop, press fast forward though, nothing happens. Press rewind, it rewinds. I don't know if this is a functionality of this style of tape deck, because my other tape deck is exactly the same. You press play though, You press stop, then you press fast forward, and it still does nothing. So why is it not fast forwarding? Have I done something wrong with the cable? Probably have. Right. Well, I've got a tape in. It's a Your Sinclair one, but that'll do. Fast forward doesn't work. And I've gone back inside, and basically the cog in the middle doesn't quite meet the other cog. I don't know why, because the design of it, I think what might have happened is that when it was broken, someone's forced it to go and basically they've worn down the cog. Aha! So, I took it all back to bits again, and look what I've been able to do. It works. Basically, what seems to happen, let me just kill the power on this. What seems to happen is that's the cog that I was on about before. It needs to come all the way across. And because age and it's been forced to not work because people have been pressing it all wrong because it's not been working properly. At least that's what I think's happened. On the underside, I've got to be careful now as I take it back out again. It's on the underside, and we'll zoom in for this as well because it will come in handy. Let's zoom in. I know this has been a bit all over the place, but it has to have been because I've learnt as I've gone along. You see there's a tab. You need to get in, push it in from the top side, pull it through out the back and bend it over backwards like that. I used a screwdriver, oh, not a screw, but a screwdriver, and pushed it all the way back because, if I can get this the right way around again, when you press fast forward or Q, it comes all the way across, and you might be able to see that bit of plastic there. When it rewinds, it bangs into that one, and when it was fast forwarding, it was banging into the other one. But the thing is, we want this gear system to actually hit that gear, which then controls the gear system underneath this wheel, so, or whatever the fancy names are for everything. So the quickest and easiest way I found was to bend that out of the way. Learn something new every day. It might not be the correct way of fixing things. I hope it is for you, but let's get it all back together again for real this time and see if we can actually get it rewinding, fast forwarding and playing. Okay, put a cassette in, rewind. Seems to be working. Fast forward, let's zero it. Nicely working now, nice and fast. Does it play? It engage. It says it's putting out data. I know, I need to stick this up to a real Acorn. Give it, well, take it all to bits, desolder the battery compartment, give it a good bath, the plastics at least. Maybe even give it a retro bright in the summer. But apart from that, I think we're done. I hope that's been informative. If it has been, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, have a look in the description for Discord and Patreons. But as always, happy gaming.